What's going on, party people? Tech File here for another episode of Overtime. This week, we are talking about the very first two episodes of HBO's Hard Knock
Oh shit.
featuring the Detroit Lions. So get ready.
It's your boy TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ass Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me.
You all right?
There we go. Can y'all hear me? Yeah,
We
you
can hear
can
you.
hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm good. Is that better?
Yep.
I'm the RJ.
Only known
All right,
as.
we good.
The RJ.
And I'm Camille, point guard of the crew of the real life Tifa Lockhart, the girl next door, holding it down for all the women who love sports. And unfortunately, Kay Harris, the gentleman, is unable to be here today. So you got a TEC Tech show coming at you today. But again, we're here to talk about Hard Knocks. We've done this, I want to say like 3 seasons of Hard Knocks in a row now. Chargers,
I
Rams.
believe so.
Yeah, Chargers, Rams, and now the
Cowboys last
Lions.
year.
So we're going to split this up. The first half of this show will be talking about episode 1, while the second half will be talking about episode 2, plain and simple. So episode 1 kicks off. You see Coach Dan Campbell up there giving an impassioned speech to his team, getting them ready for the season. And honestly, my very first thought when I saw him standing up there was simply, are we sure he's not a player? This dude is huge. He did not look like a coach.
Oh.
He big as hell for a coach.
Tell me, you all right, man? You look like you're struggling over there. You okay?
Right. Oh, you big delay.
What do you mean? Like,
You big delay.
yeah, like I guess I have a crazy delay.
You got an AOL dial-up delay.
Yeah, let me log out and come back in.
That's cool. I will say there's one thing that stood out to me when he was giving his opening speech was how different it was from like Mike McCarthy talking to the Cowboys. I was like, man, this I'd get up and play for Dan Campbell. Mike, I don't know about that one, but yeah, my first impressions was like this dude, he just knows how to talk to people.
I thought a lot about like the coaches were like the standout personalities just across the board in these first 2 episodes at least, and I feel like even the Hard Knocks crew knew that because like I feel like they gave more of a spotlight on the coaches than they normally do, or at least the last 2 years that I've watched this show, and just the sheer amount of former players that they had. I'm like, there you go. Like I was the Leo meme, like the whole first like 30 minutes of the show. I'm like, Mark Brunell. But yeah, like Dan Campbell, like he definitely is a high energy, rah, like, and he talks to you like a grown ass man. Like he doesn't, he doesn't seem to talk down to his players. He keeps it real with them. At least from what we've seen. Like obviously, I don't know what he tells people and then what he does, but like from what I've seen, he's like one of those leaders where it's like, I won't ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself, which is a really big thing to like instill trust as somebody, in your command or whatever. So yeah, I can definitely see why players would want to play for him, and that's why even before this, like when I started seeing his press conferences last season, I was like, I feel like they're gonna turn it around at some point. Like I don't know if they'll, reach the mountaintop or whatnot, but I feel like that's a leader of men, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because even last year I was like, that team's not going to quit on that coach. Like you can tell they enjoy playing for him. They're ready to run through a wall for him. It didn't translate into wins last season, but they didn't quit. They did not quit, and there were definitely a few games, as I kept saying last year when Tim was like, they ain't gonna win no games. I'm like, they're close. They're really, really close to pulling off some of these dubs, but things are happening like record-breaking field goals and last minute. Like it's just unlucky for them at this point, but like they might have something. Yeah, like in their coaching staff, at least it seems like they have a group of men there that team would love to play for, and something that
now do they have the X's and O's? I don't know. Like that might be the downfall. But like as far as like motivation and building a culture, like I think that they're strong in those.
And you see they're really trying hard to build that culture in Detroit. Like that's been a big refrain in the first 2 episodes of just like, hey, what happened last year we can't have happen last year. This is what we want to do. Grit's all over the place in Detroit, on the hats, on the gear, on the walls, it's everywhere. And something that Dan Campbell said that stood out to me in that opening speech, he's like, this is the best that you were going to feel until like March. And being somebody who watches football, I definitely understand that. Like I know during the season, like there's no chance for them really to rest their bodies and heal up. But I've never heard it presented in that way, just very straight up like, yo, right now the way that you feel at the beginning of training camp in August is the best that you are going to feel until March. Like that's what football players put their bodies through is utterly like it's mind-blowing to me.
And think about like how far, like even if you make it to the Super Bowl, like March is still like a month after you're done playing at most. So like imagine the people that are done in December. It's like, yeah, those are probably the people that are feeling March. Like it takes you 3+ months to get your body right to recover from like what you go through in the NFL season. So salute to those fellas. They don't get paid enough.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I think it was episode 2, so I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think it was one of their assistant coach, I think it was Aaron Glenn, and he was just like, I respect you, man. Like, I understand the grind. It's 2.5 hours every week on that field where you got to give everything you got, and that's hard. And I understand the grind, and I respect you, man. And I was like, I respect these men too. Like, they doing a lot. They are doing a lot. So I definitely feel like that. Tim is back. How's the connection?
I think we good.
Oh, look at that. Yes. Snappy response to you. We were just
he not amused.
Right. We were sitting there talking about Dan Campbell and just like his opening speech and how it seems like the Lions really, the players on the team, enjoy playing for him and getting up for him. Did you have any takeaways from just seeing him interacting with his team?
I feel like he's part of that. There's 2 different type of regimes usually when it comes to work. Like there's one that the old regime was hey, we had our way of doing things and kind of feel kind of outdated after a certain point in time, and everything just feel like so gloomy and cloudy and dark. And then obviously you get the new regime come in, it's all bright, rainbow, sunshine. Hey, I'm just here. I just want you guys to have fun and enjoy life. They the new regime right now. Like I fuck with their coaching staff, but they're hey, we know it sucked here for the last couple of years and it's just been just kind of crazy, and I just want y'all to enjoy football again. Like, but I do not knock the passion nor the approach to trying to motivate them, because it does seem like he's just trying to look, just as man to man, like how the coaches be calling them in and stuff like that, instead of like players or whatever the case may be. It's just like, hey, we're trying to connect with y'all, and from that connection, then maybe we can go ahead and try to get more comfortable together. And who knows, maybe you'll trust each other more, maybe we'll play better more, maybe motivate each other better, things like that. We just want y'all to be cool and happy to come to work.
Yeah, and to your point about that, they're building that culture, so they got to kind of not necessarily teach them how to win, because I'm sure most of these players throughout high school, college, whatever the case may be, they're used to winning programs, but winning at the NFL level is something that they're going to have to learn. And with year 2 with Goff as their quarterback in Detroit, we'll see how that goes. But I do want to say one more Dan Campbell thing. He says man a lot. Like he'll be talking like, yeah, I think that you guys got it, man. And coming up, you can do this next, man. But that's him. I'm not knocking him for it, but it just made me giggle. I'm like, he loves the mans at the end of this sentence. But to that point of, genuineness, I think it was Kelvin Shepard when he was talking about, he was thinking about cutting his hair off. He has locks, long locks. I think cutting my hair off, trying to get a coaching gig. And Dan Campbell was like, no, that's you. Don't do that. Be genuine. And players know a fake when they see one. Like it's very true. That's probably why Urban Meyer didn't work out in Jacksonville. Like you can't
that
beat.
Was 100% like what I was thinking about. Like watching this, I'm just like, yeah, that dude flamed out for a reason because this is like the antithesis. Like, and granted, Detroit wasn't a successful football team last year,
right?
But like you can see, like why Urban Meyer's style of football, or his style of leadership, didn't work with a group of professionals, because like these again are grown ass men that need to be treated as such. You can't come in trying to be a dictator like you were in college, because like you not head shit here. Like you're the highest paid coach maybe, but like you still you aren't touching your first round quarterback salary wise. So like there's a different dynamic, and the sooner you learn to respect that, the sooner the team will respect you. So I come back to the point I made earlier where it's like, I don't know about the X's and O's. Like maybe having that many X players on his staff, like maybe the balance is kind of thrown off. Like maybe you do need somebody that's more like
outside looking in.
The tactician, like it's not just like the point I always make about like NBA coaches where it's like stars don't really make great coaches, because like you can do it, but you can't necessarily think. I don't want to say you can't think the game, because like that's disrespectful to players, but like you don't see it the same way where you have like the holistic view. You see it like from a player standpoint. So like maybe that's the issue. But again, like building culture, teaching people how to be professional football players, relating to people as men, understanding like what they go through, what they're putting their bodies, what they're doing off the field, how long it takes you to kind of like you want to do it perfect, but you can't do that unless you take the steps to do it perfectly. Like I feel like that type of stuff, like where you can relate as men, is a strong suit of this coaching staff.
Yeah,
and
I agree. Go ahead.
It's a black ass coaching staff too. They seem more them some brothers for real.
Man, listen, who was it? It was Deuce Staley and Aaron Glenn. When they coaching and practice against each other with offense and defense, oh my God. I was like, if that ain't Tim and Ken, I don't know. I don't know.
100%.
Like, that's how we used to be when we was coaching Little League. When like your brother used to play for us and stuff like that. Like not all the coaches. Some of the coaches were cool. And so, like, run a play or some shit like that, or somebody send a text message, or somebody yell across the field, or run over at halftime, like, hey, that play ain't gonna work again. Try that again later. Shit like that. Like, we used to do that too. They used to be one of the fun parts of coaching, because at the end of the day, like, I'm banking on y'all using what I taught y'all to be able to excel. So, hell yeah, I'm gonna talk shit, because I taught y'all, so let's see what we got.
Tim, what did you say they said about Rasul Douglas the other day? A stupendous amount of shit, preposterous amount of shit. Like that is 100% Aaron Glenn and Deuce Staley.
Every play.
It was fun. It was fun to watch them coach. Like I was like, show them on the sidelines. I don't the action in between the lines is cool, but like these two dudes are highly entertaining. Like you can tell that they're really good friends. And they said a couple times, like, I love you, man, but like in between these lines, I'm gonna F you up. And that's that.
And, like that's back to the point about like respecting men. Like you can be the hardest competitors against each other. You can talk shit, you can damn near come to blows, but like if there's that love and respect there, like it's always like we on the field, like it's nothing personal. Like we're trying to bring out the best in each other to move forward. But like that's the type of stuff that you can only with somebody you respect, and that is a friend, because like otherwise it gets personal real quick.
Yeah. The first person I thought of was my guy / cousin AJ. Like that's literally, that's how me and him be at it. Like for real, that's exactly how. I like. That sounds like me and AJ, especially when we be talking about football or Madden and shit. Like
Yeah, I thought of you and Ken also. But I will say this as a woman, I grew up with a lot of male friends growing up. And the dynamic between men as friends is so different than the dynamic between women as friends. Like women are just so much more like nurturing and like, oh girl, I love you and you got it, girl, and you can do this and this and this and that. And then men are be like they just rip each other, and it's like out of love, and y'all just be having fun. And it took me a while to be able to like be like, okay, that's just what they gonna do. This is normal.
Like what is going on here?
Like it's
he look nice today. Oh, nice looking ass nigga. Hold on, real quick. Oh, suit busting ass. Oh, let me get fresh for the lady's face ass.
Like men show that they love each other by disrespecting each other, and women show disrespect for each other by like being overly nice. Like it'll be like it's their shade levels where it's like on the surface it seems like that is very nice. That is a compliment to that woman, and she just feels she's like, oh my god, I can't believe she was saying that about me. And it's like I don't know what happened.
Oh, that is funny. That's
funny.
True though.
I also thought it was interesting that Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn were sitting there doing up downs with the team, 40 of them things, and I had to laugh because the camera. Hold on, wait. This is I don't know if y'all know this, but the camera started zooming in closer on Dan Campbell as the drill kept going on, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Aaron Glenn next to him. And my brother was struggling on the other side of him. Like that's why they had to zoom in because he was dying.
Like, don't show me.
Dan was dying too. Like Dan wasn't getting all the way up on them up down. Like Dan started getting like halfway. All right, back down. Like,
hey, listen, that was probably my most hated drill in
up
football.
downs.
I don't blame either one of them. I'm just saying.
Hated him.
He got like a 32. Like he didn't get all 40. I ain't give him credit for the last 8.
Hey, listen, all I know with as bad as you saw Dan getting towards the end, I'm telling you, go back and rewatch the clip because you see Aaron Glenn on the side and the struggle. He was on the struggle bus early, but he tried. He gave his effort. He was out there with his team, and I respect it because me, up downs, I might be able to get 10 at the most, and that's on a really, really good day. And Dan Campbell was talking about he did his on a bad wrist too. I'm like, no.
Sometimes the adrenaline gets you going.
Have fun with that video.
I don't event like TECK Foul does up downs. We got some new content.
Hell to the no.
I'm just gonna try to beat Ken. That's all I'm gonna do. That's the only person I'm gonna try to beat. You two. I know I can't do that, but I'm gonna try to beat Ken. That's what I'm gonna do. You hear that, Ken? I hope
I'm
you
not
watch
that
this.
confident myself.
That's a lot of bending them knees. That's a lot of bending them knees.
We all come to the studio with injuries next week. See, I don't know if we need to do all that, man. We're getting a little up there.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody's competitiveness is gonna kick in.
It would.
Good luck with that.
It would. I'm gonna do Ken. I'm not coming in last with no up downs. I'm gonna tell you that I'm not gonna come in last. I might mess my wrist up like Dan Campbell or something like that, but I'm not gonna come in last. I'm gonna train for some up downs if we want to do that.
The best part about them though is like once, because they became a normal part of practice, like once you like can go through them and you realize you done did like 30, 35, you're like, oh, you still jogging? I'm still good. Like, okay, these shits is finally working.
That sound good. You know what else sounded good? Adrian Hutchinson playing in his hometown, singing Michael Jackson, getting the whole team up. I was like, so, okay, all they rookies got to perform for the rest of the team. And when he got up there, he's doing Actually, let me not do too much of that because YouTube might take us down.
Take us down, start charging us and shit.
He messed up the lyrics first off to start. And lost the whole room. So I was like, he gonna have to try really hard.
He was getting booed. They almost had the same man out there for her.
And he came back and he was able to get the whole team back to the point where the whole team singing the chorus with him and jigging. Someone took their shirt off and threw their shirt. Someone else caught the shirt out the air and started spinning it around.
It was wild. Wild.
So they lit. They are lit.
What rookie performance be?
What would mine be?
Yeah, like you can pick to do any type of performance in front of a group of people.
That's difficult.
Like Tim, I know Tim would be doing some type of dancing,
Tim might
like
sing.
Rodrigo did.
I might sing something.
I think Tim would sing. Don't let him fool you. He got a little voice on him. Tim can hold a tune.
It depends on what it is. Maybe the situation, depending on how nervous I am.
You
nervous?
You could
Shit,
rap
all the time.
You could rap that Buster Buster Rhymes, fam.
I don't never think of look at me now. Could do that though. Never come to mind. I definitely could.
Sometimes it's easier to suggest what other people could do, like their talents, and it's harder to look at yourself and be like, yeah, I can get up there and do that. Because
I don't think the object of these talent shows are for the people to be good at it. So it's just whatever you feel comfortable on stage performing.
Just go out there and be yourself.
Because Aiden Hutchinson could not sing. Like he was not carrying that tune.
He didn't sound bad either, but
he didn't. But yeah,
he sounded better than I would. I can tell you that. But
also the way the room reacted to his signing bonus.
23 million?
Boy, you signed your name, and it's there within 24. And
that's
just
more
all
than
of zeros.
Most of the people in that room will ever see from their NFL contract.
And he did it
like, in totality. Like, and that was his signing bonus before he even took a snap.
Fucking crazy, dog. Like tomorrow morning, like you sign your name, you $23 million once you let that pen off that. Crazy.
First call better be to your tax people. Like, hey, how much it is? And how much we set to the side. But I loved his story. Like, I know during the draft, we were texting, and Tim was very high on Adrian Hutchinson. Like, he was like, that's number one prospect in my opinion. Woo woo woo. Should go number one. But honestly, seeing how they told the story in Hard Knocks, like, I'm actually happy for him and his family. Because I know that they were glad that Trevon Walker shopped that board and went to Jacksonville, because they really wanted him at home. When his sister was like, had he went somewhere else, I would have been crying, and people would have thought I was so happy for him. But
that was mom.
Oh, that was his mom?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, she looks good.
Well, and that I went back and I looked up like his whole family thing, because like they kind of, somebody at the end of it mentioned like, oh, he broke his dad's sack record. I'm like, who the fuck is his daddy? It's like his dad played at Michigan like late 80s, early 90s. And then his mom was like Miss Michigan in that same time period. And then his sister was like Miss Michigan 2022. So their whole family is like football and patches. Like, that's what they do.
They look like it.
Right.
Yeah. The All-American family.
Mm-hmm.
Probably all voted for Trump.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
He cleared his throat. As a Packers fan, I might be worried about him going forward. Just another headache to have to see 2 times a year. But like, just the story aspect of it, and him being able to stay home, and him wanting to be home, and what that's like for him, like the human interest story of it, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I learned about Hard Knocks. Is like, it makes me root for people I never even gave 2 thoughts about. Like, it's like, I want to see them, like, not necessarily like win football games, but I just want to see them win at life. Like, these seem like decent, hardworking folks.
Plus, Jamal Williams over there, dog, crying and shit.
What did he say when he was crying? Don't get these tears messed up. I'll mess you up.
What did he say? If you it was something about piss on the porch. If you a puppy, piss on the porch and let the big dogs eat, or some shit. Like, it was something.
Because we eat or some. I was like, bro, what we going?
He was saying a lot of words, fam. I didn't follow.
A lot of words. Shed a couple words. Shed a couple tears, bro. Like, it was in passion. Like,
passion was real.
I feel him.
I mean, again, like those are the type of, like, first of all, like, that sounds like he gonna be Deuce Staley's assistant, like, when he's done playing, because like that's some coach speak for that ass. But like, again, like, that's part of changing the culture in Detroit. It's like, you need people that are passionate, like, you need people that give a fuck, like, whatever your talent is, like, you want people to maximize it. Like, you may not be the most talented, but nobody's gonna outwork you. Nobody's gonna care more about this football shit. Like, nobody. Those are the type of people that they're trying to build up. So, like, having Jamal Williams as an example on the roster of what the coaching staff is preaching, like, is important.
I do want to say though, PJ Tucker got everybody out here talking about how they dogs now. I was like, okay, it's part of the sports now. We dogs. We gotta be dogs. But before we end this segment talking about episode 1 and get to the break and then hit episode 2, when looking at all the ex-players that are on that coaching staff, which of those names, when you saw them pop up, got you the most excited? Were you like, oh, shoot, I didn't even realize that you was coaching? Or like, oh, I loved him when he was playing. Were there any players on that coaching staff, given how many ex-players they have, that got you excited? Dang, you said who?
Randall.
Yes, that was one of mine too, for sure.
Yeah. Antoine Randall was pretty cool. Before even watching that, I was like, can we use it for the quarterbacks one? For the game that needs a name. Was it 2 weeks ago or something like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm. You sure did.
It's like Randall.
For me, it was Mark Brunell. Just because when I think of Mark Brunell, I think of Jacksonville. That's the very first thing that comes to mind. And then the second thing is, okay, backers. I was combining my two words. Packers back up for years, but also the trade of him led to us getting William Henderson. And I love William Henderson, so shout out to Mark Brunell.
Yeah.
Either anybody stand up for you?
Sports fact of the week from Camille. So I'm like, I had no idea that's how they got.
Yeah, we got 2 draft picks for him, and one of them ended up being William Henderson.
The more you know. Yeah, I think it was Randall for me.
Yeah.
Because I knew about Aaron Glenn and Deuce Staley. But like, again, like it's crazy that these players that I watched basically be drafted in their whole NFL career, like now they're like the ex-players that are coaches.
Coaching. That
circle of life.
Yeah, that coaching staff has more than 80 seasons of NFL playing experience. So we will definitely see how that translates on the field as they coach. But we're going to head to the break really quick. So when we come back, we're going to talk about episode 2. If you're watching on YouTube, it won't even be that quick, but we're going to be right back. And we are back, party people. Tech Foul here. Eric, myself, Camille, and Tim talking to you all about HBO's Hard Knocks. We covered episode 1 throughout the first part of this episode, and we're going to be talking about episode 2 of Hard Knocks during this portion of the show. So the first thing I wrote in my notes when episode 2 kicked off was, I was like, dang. Hey. No. Coach Deuce Staley pretty much said they all ugly, and it's just the majority of women. And I was like, that's a way to start an episode, I tell you.
I've told y'all this because we've told our kids that before. We
told kids that?
Hell yeah, we told them last that.
Football coaches are disrespectful. Like, it don't matter what age group.
We like, bro, ain't none of y'all
they're all
pretty.
assholes.
It was like the pretty boys is the ones sitting on the sidelines, just the ugly motherfuckers that become the superstars. Cracking up. They was like, dang. So we look at one kid, he was like, wait, here's the wild part. One kid was actually a model at the time. The kid now is a doctor, and he's still modeling.
So
not a football player. Not a football player.
He trash because he's cute.
Oh, no. But that kind of coincides.
Now hold on now, because Nick Barnett was fine.
How many you got in the league? Football. How many you got in the league? It's been millions of them motherfuckers now. How many you got in the league, Camille?
Fam, I'm just the first. I mean, for my personal taste, Nick Barnett comes to mind. Deshaun Jackson comes to mind. Those the two.
There's a 53 per team.
But I mean, there's also people who found like Clay Matthews attractive. I didn't, but some people did.
For the most part, y'all don't find these motherfuckers attractive only because they got a damn jersey on. Is the reason why. But you know what? I can work with that.
Yeah, a quick story time with Camille. Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Back when I was still in college and single, I was at 720 one night. And there were quite a few athletes in the building. There was somebody in my group who completely embarrassed herself in front of Drew Gooden.
Yikes.
And I got the number of somebody who said he played for the Packers because I walked past his VIP section and he was like, hey, what's up? And we were talking because if you know anything about me, especially back then, I talked to everybody. I gave everybody a shot. It just Let's see what you got cooking underneath. So I didn't know who he
That don't
was.
sound right.
Ah,
You might want to rephrase.
Mine out the gutter here. I'm talking about personalities, okay? Who you are on the inside. And
I'm just saying, you don't want that clipped out of context. That's all.
I hear you.
I had to leave real quick.
But we were talking, you know, he's like, "Can I get your number?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And we were just talking. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be in Milwaukee too much longer. I got to get back to Green Bay." And I was like, "For what?" And he was like, "I play for the Packers." I said, "No, you don't." He said, "I do." I won't say his name. He's somebody who did not make the full roster or get any real playing time. But I was like, "No, you don't." And then it's like, "Oh, you actually do." But it did not work out because he was on some stuff I was not on at that time. Like, you smoke? I'm like, "Ain't you in the league?" And all this other type of stuff. And I was like, "Nah, man, this ain't you. You a little too hot for me." I think
he was never gonna make it.
He was a little too hot for me, but
put it in the chat.
When girls heard him say to me that he played for the Packers, there were so many that just started walking by at that point. Like before that, it was nothing.
But this was the panties.
They started tossing them.
Sir, do you want some more? Would you like some more? I have a second pair on.
Maybe y'all want something. Maybe y'all want something. The Lions sure do hope they're on to something with Malcolm Rodriguez, who for some reason they kept calling Rodrigo, and I'm like,
"Hey, we're gonna let him have it. We ain't gonna say that's racist, but we're gonna let him have it."
It's like the man's name ain't okay. A nickname, but
they gave him a nickname. It's a nickname. He like it. I love it.
I mean, it's not that far of a jump from Rodriguez to Rodrigo. Like,
you like it, I love it. But Paul, go ahead, have at it.
Shoot, the way that he playing, they gonna get his name right because
they ain't gonna have no choice.
That's what I'm saying. Because the way them coaches was talking, like, "Hey, there's rookie out here out playing all y'all. I don't want to give him y'all spot, but y'all."
See, if I'm him, like sitting there, I'm like, "Hey, can you like
relax?
Thank you." Like you gonna get me fucked up with them. Like I got to share a locker room with them. Like I can't be the teacher's pet. Like,
and they talking
appreciate it. Thank you. Give me some playing time, but can you like keep that on the low? Like,
no, they gave him a 10-minute wrestling match, bro. They let that man. They cooked for that man for a while now. They was promoting for him. They was talking all kind of good.
Man,
I don't want this rookie that's in here, but hey.
They gave him the full Paul Heyman promo. Like,
swear they did. It's a coach in this building who's been here for 5 years and he ain't never seen somebody do what he's doing.
Never seen it. Like, but where do you know what building y'all in? I can understand why he ain't seen a motherfucker look like this.
Ooh, that's
one of y'all just did a LeVar Ball impression.
Never lost.
I feel like that.
The best linebacker they've had recently was DeAndre Levy.
You said who?
DeAndre Levy? I think he was like the most recent good linebacker they may have had.
That might be accurate. I can't think of any. I'm sure. What's the dude?
Samuel Morse Middle School alumnus. Let's go. Dre Levy.
Who had the colored eyes on the Lions? Was he a edge rusher or was he a linebacker? It was like Van, start with a V. He used to put them colored contacts in his eyes all the time. Big white dude. He might have been an edge rusher though. Yes.
Kyle Van Der Esch? He's on Cowboys now.
No, that's Leighton Van Der Esch.
That is Leighton.
She's thinking of Kyle Van Den Bosch.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He was a linebacker, yes.
He's someone else that comes to mind as like a good linebacker the Lions had. But that was, again, quite some time ago.
A real long time ago. Mm-hmm. So for him to have been there for 5 years, and we know in the last 5 years, they barely got dubs there. Like, it's quite understandable if y'all get excited when you see somebody that's competent come through at the linebackers. But I can understand being a Packer fan because it's been, we've had our fair share of, hey, we happy that you're just athletic at the linebacker spot.
Like the clip that I saw, he reminded me of the dude from the Packers, Martinez.
Blake Martinez?
He went to the Giants.
Blake Martinez went to the Giants. Yep.
Blake Martinez,
like maybe not the flashiest player, but like just he's always around the ball, always hitting people. Like,
yeah,
again, like it's one of those glue guys that you need. Right, it's one of the glue guys that you need to just be in the right spot. Like, You know, we can have somebody else be the playmaker, but like we need
that.
You know,
he won
11 dudes across the field.
Yeah. That motherfucker, he'll tackle your ass, and maybe 6, 7, 8 yards up the field, but he gonna get the tackle. Yeah,
hey,
120
6 or 7 yards is better than 20.
That's 6 and 7. The touchdown was 4 yards ago. He tackled your ass at the end zone. Like, come on now. That's why he had to go.
Now, let me ask y'all this, especially Tim. I want you to answer this first too. Do stay talking about DeAndre Swift. Mm-hmm. He's very high on what Swift can be, and seeing like in the first episode, you were seeing Swift running through the defense and the drill that they highlighted. In this episode, you just see him being like, "Yo, this kid is special. He has an in him. I got to get it out of him. I want him to be confident enough to go to the coach at halftime and be like, yo, I need the ball in my hand." When you look at DeAndre Swift and how he plays, do you also see that he has that talent level that he could reach that could be like a top running back in the league?
I've seen it from his rookie year, but he got to stay healthy, bro. That's one. Two, he got to stop with the drops because he was supposed to, coming out of college, he was supposed to be a Swiss Army knife, bro. Like he was supposed to be a bigger back that can run you over, that can run past you, and he can catch like crazy. But he's been having injuries and drop issues since he's been in the league. So it's like the talent's there, the everything is there for him to be able to be who they thought he was going to be coming out of college. Because I think he was either a second or third round pick. I can't remember which one, but he was up there as far as picks go for running backs, especially for a running back. Like they invested in him, and for him this year to be, I think year number 3 could be his breakout year. It could be. Hell, people drafted him in like his average draft position, I think, is like number 10 or 12 or some shit like that. Like he's up there. Yeah, he's up there with like some of them.
I get why. I understand why it is, because he does have that dual allure to him, and he was a second round pick. I just double checked.
Yeah, he was high
pick in the second round. 35th overall. So very high draft pick out of Georgia. And to your point, I always thought that Swift had the talent, but it's just the health part for me where I'm like, if he can stay on the field, he can definitely be a headache for many, many defenses. And I got really excited though when I saw Barry Sanders. I was like, oh man, you want to talk?
I like very highlights.
I know, and I wanted Ken to be here because the very last one was against the Bears, and he just
cooking their ass,
cooking, and I was like, yeah. Like he didn't do that to us for years, too.
I used to love Barry Sanders.
Hey, I ain't see the Packers in the clip, so
they sure didn't put us in there. Only the Bears. I just want to point that out. But man, I just love seeing Barry Sanders. It was funny watching, like, man, this grass looks so much better. And they showed the clip of the grass that he was
there was a pond in the background.
My man was running out like
they just had them at the park,
right? Fucking Lincoln Park and shit.
Lincoln Park grass looked better than that.
My man, they just put the hell. Maybe.
I'm telling you,
dude came up with the lines out 5 minutes before the game, so the lines ain't all the way straight. He just running on some shit.
Shit, they home stadium like they were running on carpet. So what he did, like in less than ideal conditions, makes it even more impressive.
So he was practicing at the crib. He ran at the crib. He was sprinting at the damn game. Shit, they damn near had the same conditions. It was terrible there. It was terrible.
Man, that grass looked so good to Barry. I could tell he was thinking like, man, I just kind of want to get out there and do a quick little
just hand the ball off one time.
Just want to see how the grass
between my toes.
I'm not used to that. I just want to see what it was like. But it's kind of cool to see. It's cool to see Barry around that franchise, given how they split when he retired. Like, y'all ain't doing nothing. I'm out of here.
They held him hostage, bro.
But another player I do want to talk about, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Chip on his shoulder for show. And St. Brown is somebody who I was familiar with because Equiminius played for the Packers. And even before that, I heard of John Brown and how he was training his sons to like
they damn daddy, bro.
to be athletes. And boy, when he got on the screen, that man stole it.
Picked up where he left off at. Him and LeVar Ball, bro. I'm telling you.
Hey, and LeVar been in the cut chilling.
He been quiet. LeVar been quiet.
Chilling.
Mr. St. Brown,
because he's letting his success speak for itself. Like, you don't have to be all out here like one. You know, they established. They said. Lonzo got his second contract. Elo is all-star. Like,
You better
Just
have a
gotta
shoe
get
deal.
you
Jello.
got to do all that, though. He said too. His brothers are rich.
And he's a model, so maybe basketball players work the same way as football players, I'm guessing. But no, how did KD catch a stray though in the Hard Knocks? Like John Brown talking about training his sons, and he's like, "Yeah, you got to train your full body." And coaches always ask me how to get so strong, and then you look at KD. When's the last time you think he did a calf raise with his Achilles tearing?
I was cracking up. I was like, "Come on, bro." That's why his Achilles got messed up.
Anytime KD is mentioned, he finds it. So just wait.
He responded already.
He did?
Oh yeah, he saw the clip.
He ain't got shit time.
Because the question that John Brown asked in the clip was, "When's the last time KD did some calf raises or calf exercises?" And KD retweeted the clip and just wrote, "Today."
I told you, KD hear everything. He like the Sandman.
Oh yeah.
Just say his name 3 times and he there.
Go ahead, put TECK Foul on KD. Go ahead, give us some more listens.
Oh God, just wild, dog. Like he finds the time.
The man called it train hard now.
Them kids got some names on them. Like I got Amin Ra's whole.
I remember like the Egyptian names.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
And he got a German wife. But hey, you know.
He had to make sure. Remember, we did a whole thing on him when they was in college.
Yeah, no, he changed it from Brown to St. Brown.
They had to have the perfect wife and the perfect build and the perfect because he was perfect. Like, that's what he picked up where he left off at in Hard Knocks. From last time I've seen Mr. St. Brown, this is how he sounded. You see, they ain't said a word to each other.
And they didn't. They were literally training like robots in the background, just focus.
They said a beep.
How many? Is it 3 brothers? There's only 2.
It's 3 of them.
It's 3.
Is the third?
The other one ain't make the league.
And all 3 of them was wide receivers.
Okay. Well,
Amin Ra, Julian, Heru, Jay, St. Brown.
And then it's Equiminius, Tristan, Hotep, Jay, St. Brown.
Emotep.
Emotep. There you go.
From the Mummy. Yeah.
But Amon might be the best one of them. I was excited watching him during his rookie year.
I don't think there's that.
Unless Equiminius gonna get his shit off over there in Chicago.
He might. Ain't no throw to.
Hey, we see the work he putting in. He ain't said shit to us.
It was also real cool. I feel like the first episode was more about like the coaches, and the second episode they were trying to bring more of the player stories into it, because even the backup quarterback, David Blau, in his story.
Oh boy!
First of all, he had a whole storyline,
story arc.
Man, I felt so bad for him by the end of it, but at the beginning,
I saw it coming. Like once they got into the game and they were setting up, I'm like, oh, he gonna fuck this up.
And he did. He literally just dropped the snap.
Just dropped it. Lions gonna lie, and people who watch him like, here we same shit. New year, same shit. How we lose this game, bro? All we had to do was get a first down and get a knee. How we go from having a first down and a knee to having to play defense to having to get scored on to having to try to run down the field with a minute left? Well, how did we get here? My man was running to the right, throwing he lobbed that bitch to the end zone. He lobbed it. It wasn't even on a dime. It wasn't even on a rope. It wasn't on a string. It wasn't
damn near a duck.
Damn near. And my man's came easy money.
He came back to it.
Came back to it.
Money.
How you lose on some shit like that? After you go in there and say, this city wants us to get a W. In the huddle talking to me like you finna do some shit.
Hey man, sometimes it just don't work out.
Out here trying to what?
But his wife though, his wife a winner.
Yeah, she nice.
Melissa.
I mean, she came in 7th.
God damn, we're not doing that.
Placed in 2nd during the heat that they showed on.
She came in 2nd.
In that heat, she came in 7th overall. Like in the finals, she came in 7th.
I mean,
that was just to qualify for the finals.
Hey man,
I'm not knocking her. I'm just saying, like she ain't winning. Like
She's a winner.
She's faster than me. I ain't got shit to say.
I was like, you sound like Blau now. If I had her speed, my life would be so much easier. My job would be so much easier.
Shit, he sound like St. Brown. Like, I gotta get the perfect wife so my kids are fast. Like, damn near eugenics.
That's what LeVar Ball said too when he saw Tina.
Yeah.
He said, we're going to have some athletes.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. That's...
Hey, they brought it to fruition, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got some kids, they
that
big as
just
hell.
don't mean it's
athletes.
not immoral.
Wasn't that
Hey, I'm not saying it's all right. They did what they had to do.
What was that movie? It's a kids movie. And it had Al Bundy in it where he was a coach. He coached like a junior Cowboys team. And his brother coached Little Giants because his brother coached the Giants team. And it was that one kid on the team who was just getting trained up just to be a monster.
Icebox. No, Icebox was the girl. What was the boy? Shit.
I can't remember what his name was.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, I haven't watched Little Giants in a very long time. But whenever I hear of these parents who are like, "Oh, we getting together to have athletes," that's what I always think of. I think of that movie and that kid.
Annexation of Puerto Rico.
and the sticky hands. That's a good. I need to watch Little Giants soon. But
it was a good movie.
Back to Hard Knocks. Yeah, it's interesting. I forgot to mention this in the first part, but I love the Hard Knocks intro that they have for like just the show to introduce it, how they cut from the players working out to they cut to a car being made and they keep cutting back and forth. Then you see the car finally made.
Pushing the tire, like they showed the tire getting put on the car, yeah.
And they push it out and you see the finished car and you see them walking into the stadium. And I'm like, what a very Detroit intro. And then they spent time in this particular episode just talking about like what Detroit is and how Detroit is, and it's resilient, it's gritty, it's the jungle, it's love, it's home, it's so on and so forth. And whenever I hear descriptors of other Midwest cities, it's always interesting to me because I feel like you can just really move them around. Yeah, you can move them around. Detroit's definitely in a different place than Milwaukee is, given the peaks and the highs that Detroit had in comparison to the peaks and highs that Milwaukee had. And at this point, they still have a bigger population than we do, although it's only like 100,000 people. Just talking about Detroit, the city proper, which is crazy to think about when it's a city that can hold like 1 million some people. But you see how they're like, we're important to the city. We're trying to build up the city. Detroit, we're Detroit, we're Detroit, we're Detroit. Detroit versus everybody on the walls. And I like that attitude. I like that grittiness, that chip on the shoulder.
I went to a Pistons game and that shit is everywhere. Like they really believe Detroit versus like that is like the rallying cry of that city. So
I can understand that shit. I feel like everybody left them.
And it's on us to get it back. Like it's us versus everybody. We can come back. We can do what we got to do. And that's not even on the sports tip, but just like building the city back up. And I like that energy about Detroit, where it's like, you with us or you against us, and we don't really care because we about to go hard for what we got. So I love.
Made me want to go back to Detroit.
Oh, I'm definitely going back because I need to get to my Motown. I need to go to my Motown stuff.
I think I may have a party there soon. So
you having a party in Detroit?
No, maybe get invited to one or something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I feel you.
Is it a show?
Possibly. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, they ended the episode with that preseason game, and like we talked about, David Blau fumbled at the wrong time. Game was over. Sorry for you. Let's get back and try it again for next week. And in the locker room, when Dan Campbell was like, "Some of y'all, that was your only shot." I'm like,
yeah.
Dang.
He was like, hey, I ain't trying to be that guy, but it's the truth. I'm like, damn, bro, still, like, you could have waited. Like, y'all just because you in your fields because y'all lost. So, hey, y'all done, just so you know. Like, most of y'all ain't gonna make it.
Well, I mean, like, that was what I was speaking to earlier, where it's like, again, like, you kind of want a straight shooter, and that cuts both ways. Like, you want somebody to kind of tell you, like, where you stand, and you also want somebody, you know, they also gonna tell you where you stand when it ain't necessarily good for you. But like at least you know where you're at, and you know you don't have somebody like blow a smoke up your ass and the whole time they know that they're gonna cut you tomorrow. Like I'd rather at least like have that. Like one thing I was thinking about when Blau fumbled though is like he dwelled on it for forever, and I get it, like that's your livelihood, but at the same time it's like you gotta move on to the next play because y'all still had another drive to go. It's like you can't just be like, man, I can't believe I did that. Oh my god, I just fumbled the game. You know, it's like it happened. You can't do anything about it. Move on. Like, don't forget about it. Like, remember that so you don't do it again. But at the same time, you got to have that next play mentality.
That
the
shit
kid
hard.
that the interception, he did the same thing. Like oh my
That
god,
shit hard.
It is
It
hard.
truly is. Like you sit.
It
there
is,
and
but that's what separates people. Like
yeah,
Exactly.
successful people can move on. It's like good play don't matter, bad play don't in the past. Go on to the next one.
That's a
Fair
fact. That's
enough.
that's probably part of why. In addition, I mean, there's a lot of different things that get you to be a starter or NFL, 53 roster type of guy, but like you have to have the mental aspect of it too to be able to let that go and get to the next play and be like, it's not over until this clock says 0. Like we still have a shot, and they did. But you could tell. I knew it was over for him when he was reacting the way he. Sometimes you can just see it in an athlete where you like, nah, it's
he ain't got it.
it's done. It's done. But as we get ready to wrap up this episode here, I do just want to ask y'all this question. Now that we're 2 episodes in, one, going into the season, knowing that it was the Lions that were going to be in Hard Knocks, like, were you excited for them? And then 2 episodes in, so far, has it met your expectations, exceeded? Are you interested? Like, how do you feel about this season, and how does that relate to how you were coming into the season of Hard Knocks?
I dead ass forgot that it, like every time it would be brought up, like it would be a surprise. Like, oh, the Lions are doing Hard Knocks this year. So like I just couldn't retain that information for anything. So I didn't have any expectations because I didn't care. But I feel like Hard Knocks as a television product, like they have it down at this point. Like they know what they're doing, and they always find a way to kind of hook you. So it met my expectations in that respect because it's like they're always gonna find a way to make me care about it. Even as somebody that doesn't really care for football, like it's a good television product.
Being the Lions, I remember when we first heard that it was going to be the Lions, I laughed. I said I wanted to see this shit show. See how they still won't win another game, and lo and behold, look at that. Now we see the inner workings of why they be losing these damn games.
He ain't gonna be playing, man.
So I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good time.
Player haters ball
Hey, listen, I'm paying attention to what's going on. I ain't said nothing else about him.
After everything I said about Detroit and you saying you wanted to go back, do you really want to poke that bear? That's what
I ain't poking the bear. I'm just
this the strategy that you want to take.
They want the whole point of the show is to show
you want to get another email from Detroit.
Right?
That's what you want.
Listen, so what happened is they took the camera in there and they said, all right, 0-10-1, how did this happen? And then when they walked in there with the camera to them training camps, they found a man. He fumbled. They said, damn, okay, this is how this go.
All smoke from B13 is directed at Tim Kaine.
To this man down here, that man.
I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it. I am thoroughly enjoying watching, what's going on behind the scenes. I have players that I like, I really do fuck with the rookie, Rodrigo, and I do fuck with Jamal Williams, and I do fuck with. See, DJ Chark, they ain't really showed too much of him though.
Maybe next episode, but I feel it.
Yeah, I fuck with them,
Hey man, I'm into it. Like Eric said, I like Hard Knocks. I love it. I'm looking forward to the in-season version with the Cardinals that starts in November too. So I'm all here for it. But we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna wrap this up. We appreciate everybody for tuning in to us on the Good News Radio Network. To everybody watching on our YouTube, truly appreciate y'all. So I want to wish y'all well and remind y'all, if y'all have not already, listen to our weekly show. Go on back, listen to episode 260 because the fellas held it down. It was highly entertaining, really fun. So make sure y'all get in there and listen to that and support. If you want to follow me on social media, you can catch me.
Wait a minute.
On Twitter, Instagram at Camille Monet, CAMILLE MONAE.
At your world champion Milwaukee Bus Burner on Twitter.
That's all you get.
Yep.
What is it? K_Harris_gentleman. No, see, I still don't know that nigga shit. But mine is TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ass Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me. We out.
Peace out, y'all. Again, appreciate y'all for listening.